Hi, my name is David. I'm in Tainan, and this is Taiwan in English. In today's exciting episode, we'll be taking you to look at some phrases that don't mean what you might think, idioms. Idioms are a type of slang that use metaphors and similes to add flavor to speech. I know I say this a lot, but it's important to remember that it is to add flavor, not to confuse. These are not meant to be in-group, out-group identifiers. We'll talk about those in a future exciting episode. They're just common expressions that really pack a big idea into just a few words. Today's idioms all involve apples. Apples and oranges. It means that the things that you are talking about are not related, or the comparison is unreasonable. Sometimes said as, it's like comparing apples to oranges. It's for times like comparing soccer to basketball. There aren't really any characteristics that they share. Soccer is largely an endurance game, whereas basketball is explosive. Basketball is a hand-oriented game, and soccer is foot-oriented. The only thing that they really share is a strange love for acting like the slightest touch is the same as being hit by a truck. The apple of someone's eye. This is used to say that someone thinks the object is the best. It is almost always a parent to a favorite child. Sorry, your parents have a favorite. If it is not a parent and child, it's still a people thing. It would be very odd to use this for an animal or some other non-living object. It could happen, but it would be odd. The apple never falls far from the tree. I've never liked this one. It means that someone is the way they are, or that they did something because of their parents. If someone wins a contest, it gives the credit to the parent. If someone fails a test, it blames them. I understand the idea, but I've always thought that this externalized responsibility. You learn from your parents, but at the end of the day, your actions, successes, and inevitable failures are all your own. As American as apple pie. There is an idealized America, often called Americana. It's usually portrayed on TV and in movies as a small town, even if it's set in a big city, where everyone knows each other and is always friendly and smiling. Independence Day with a picnic, fireworks, and of course, apple pie. It's the most American something can be. A better phrase for this is quintessentially American. Bad apple or rotten apple. This is used for people and animals to say that they are bad. It only takes one bad apple. And then there is one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. This means that it only takes a small amount of something to ruin a larger group. It is also used to talk about a person having a bad influence on a larger group. It's also pretty common to change bad to rotten, bunch to barrel, or just drop the whole. It's a safe bet that if someone is talking about apples and bunches or barrels, they mean something or someone is a problem. The next one is a question that people ask. How do you like them apples? This is a taunt. A taunt is when you say or do something that is trying to get someone to respond without thinking or planning. Taunts are very common in sports, really any competitive situation, with players trying to distract their opponents to give them an advantage. This taunt is used after someone does a particularly good move or play, something that has already put the opponent at a disadvantage. Taunts can be friendly, and this one generally is, but it is going to depend on how it is said. Like a joke, how do you like them apples? Is not the same as, how do you like them apples? Polish someone's apple. This is pretty old-fashioned, but old-fashioned stuff shows up in school stuff. You will most likely see this as a suggestion, like, hey, why don't you go polish the teacher's apple? It implies that they are a flatterer. Being a flatterer might help some people get ahead, but it's generally considered a bad thing to do. That makes this at least a little insulting or taunting. So how this is said is going to be very important. Upset the apple cart. This is about ruining a plan or an activity. Sometimes it can be a warning that what you're going to do might ruin something, or after something has happened, it can be an admonishment. When this is a warning, it is a subtle threat of repercussions. Don't upset the apple cart. That if you ruin the whatever it is, you will be punished, but not openly. It will be something secret or hidden that makes life worse or not as good as it could have been. When it's an admonishment, there is typically a sense of surprise that someone did the whatever, or they can't believe that someone would do the whatever. A better word for this is incredulity, but that is not a word you've likely heard before. A note on admonishments. If you look it up in the dictionary, you will find that it says it can be used to express both warning and disapproval. I disagree, but accept that some people use it that way. I view dictionaries and grammar guidelines, rules, as descriptive, not prescriptive. They represent the most common usage and style, in the opinion of whoever's making it. A road apple. I had never heard this one and was just about to delete it off the list when it occurred to me that maybe it meant horse apples, and it did. So, what is it? Okay, before there were cars, trucks, and motorcycles, people used animals to get around. Oxen, horses, donkeys, and mules. Donkeys and mules are not really big enough to move much, and oxen are not very fast or agile. So horses became the de facto transportation for people. And horses have to eat. And at some point, what they eat comes out the other end. You might not have seen it before, but what comes out looks like a pile of dark brown or black apples. And in cities, horses don't exactly have toilets, so road apples. When and why someone would use this? Generally to say that something is ridiculous or terrible. This is also a way to express a bad feeling without using bad words. It's not polite, but it is better than the alternatives. If you get a bad grade, you might say, "Oh, horse apples!" Just don't let your teacher hear you. If your friend tells you something that you don't believe, you might say, "That's horse apples!" Or, "What a load of horse apples!" Again, probably better that you didn't, but kids will be kids. The last one for today is the Big Apple. It is a nickname for New York City. Why is it called the Big Apple? There are a lot of hypotheses, but no one is really sure. There are a lot of horse-drawn carriages in Central Park. Maybe it's related. I'm joking, it's not. That's it for today. Before you go, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to comment below. Let me know which Apple idiom was your favorite or that you thought was interesting. If you know an Apple idiom that I missed, let me know. And as always, if you have any other questions, you can put them in the comments. I'll see you in the next exciting episode of Taiwan in English. Bye.